In the 1970s, Livingston was an established new town. Its crown jewel was something a little unexpected. Livi skatepark's been called the home of Scottish skateboarding and is respected around the world.
Livingston, I thought it was amazing.
When you listen to people talk about it, it's held almost as a site of pilgrimage within the skateboarding community.
You've got Hampden, and you've got Murrayfield, and you've got St Andrews and Glen Eagles, and this skate park's on a par with them.
It was a mandatory stop. I mean, we would have stopped there even if it weren't set up for a demo, because it's such a legendary spot.
It's like something you have to go to, you know. It's kind of almost like a holy grail thing. If you're a skateboarder, you want to skate Liverpool, because you've seen it for the last 30 years or 40 years, and you've seen the world's best skateboarders doing their thing in it, so it still draws people.
Quite a lot of famous names have been here. In fact, all the famous names have been here. You name a famous skateboarder and they've been here, you know.
Well, we definitely owe it to Kenny, because without Kenny, this wouldn't have been here.
First time I dropped in a ramp, Kenny was holding both my hands. I was only 6 years old and I was like this tall.
Kenny was just one of these guys that made it happen.
When I got married, Livingston, new town was just kind of started, and we got a house in Livingston way back in 1971. There wasn't an awful lot to do in Livingston. It wasn't that big, and there was just one little shopping centre. I think there was one pub as well. I worked for Hewlett Packard at the time, and we'd often go across to our base in California, in Silicon Valley. I was across there, it was about 1976, I think. Picked up a magazine, flipped open, and lo and behold, there was a picture of Scott Autry carving a swimming pool. And I went, wow, that looks fantastic. So bought a set of trucks and a board and brought it back and made lots of dent in the family washing machine, skating it along the hall. The Livingston Development Corporation were very good at that point, and I went up to them and says, how would you like to be the first town to have a purpose-built concrete skate park? I think they kind of had an open checkbook at that time, and as I said, there wasn't an awful lot for the kids to do, so I said, oh, that sounds good, let's come and talk about it.
Skate parks got built, they were made in concrete, and then 6 months later someone came up with a better design, so you had a kind of obsolete design. But when Livy was designed, Kenny and Dee and Ian Urquhart, they just came up with an amazing skate park, and you know, they didn't have that much money to spend, so it was kind of condensed, but what they built was pretty much revolutionary, you know, and it stood the test of time.
I think one of the things that's particularly interesting about the Livi Park is that its design is in many ways directly influenced by a lot of the large American skate parks, with its half-pipe section and its twin bowl. And ironically, a lot of those parks actually were closed and in many cases demolished not long after the Livi Park was originally built.
Skateboarding was dying at that time, but nevertheless, when it heard that the Bones Brigade were coming here, we had visitors from everywhere.
When I was young, I was the typical sort of oblivious American. I didn't know about different countries and different cultures or where anything was or how they were connected, and I did know that Livingston Skate Park was in Scotland. And I think that was one of my geography lessons as a kid. It was super challenging, and it was the kind of thing where if we were prima donnas, we'd be like, I'm not skating this, it's too tricky or whatever, but I knew the folklore of Livingston and the legendary status, and I was up for it. I mean, I was going to skate it regardless of how difficult it was.
Back in the day, there was Livy, and that was pretty much it for almost the whole of Britain at one point. It was like the one skate park there was a few more, so I'm exaggerating slightly, but it really was like people came from all over the world to skate that.
If I never found the park, I probably wouldn't be sitting here now. But I mean,
obviously no, because you're at the skate park.
No, well, you know what I mean. No, I mean, just a lot of the people I grew up with aren't as productive as we are.
There's so many skateboarders that are you know, dotted all over the place now that probably, you know, owe a debt to Kenny.
My wife Ellen and I, whenever we're driving by and we see the kids here, we feel a really great pride in thinking, you know, we kind of started that.
To this day, you know, the fact that I did skate Livingston is sort of one of those notches in your bedpost for being a pro skater.